Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
A teacher at MacArthur High School passed away after a medical emergency. We will share how the school is supporting students and staff.
And a warning for parents and shirts after 3 disturbing incidents involving attempted child abductions. We'll tell you what police are doing to keep kids safe.
Plus, new details show Robb Elementary had door problems before the tragic shooting in 2022. What families and teachers had to say about it for years. Coming up. TGIF, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to Friday. Welcome into GMSA.
Yes, welcome to GMSA. And all I got to say today is go Birds.
Yeah.
All right. Now, speaking of going Birds.
The Philadelphia Eagles, by the way.
Yes, sir. I know a lot of people are probably waking up kind of tired this morning because the game lasted late. But there was a reason why it lasted so late. Shelby, man, that weather delay, what was up?
I'm going to be honest. I was already asleep. I'm hearing about that there was some sort of lightning delay. I'll look about it, give you guys kind of an update, but I went to sleep at the beginning of the game. Watched first 10 minutes. But one thing that we're watching, not only weather across the country, is weather in San Antonio. Temperatures right now waking up sitting at about 78 degrees, a much warmer story than what we were just 24 hours yesterday. And for kiddos going to school, you're going to continue to see the temperatures a little on the warmer side this morning compared to yesterday. I mean, yesterday we were in the 50s and 60s for some folks, but this afternoon we're going to be a little cooler. We're not expecting our actual air temperature to get to 100. Some areas, yes, but for us, we're going to be right below. It's going to be at about upper 90s for us in San Antonio. Today, San Antonio, 99 degrees. Other areas along the I-35 to even I-37 corridor expecting to get to triple digits. But for us, we're going to start to see a little bit of a cool down, not only with the temperatures today, but also this weekend. Temperatures on Sunday only getting to 90 degrees because we're tracking the rain chances. And it's all because of now post-tropical cyclone Lorena. I'll talk about that and what it means for San Antonio and why it's causing our weather coming up in just a bit. But RJ, people are headed out this morning, a little tired. How are the roads doing?
Definitely that. Yes, thank you very much, Shelby. As we give you a look here at your traffic authority. And let's see if just check it out. Okay, so let's get you started right here. I'm going to talk a little bit louder. At 410 Jackson Keller, traffic is. Here we go. Yes, it was on. Okay. All right, it's definitely a Friday.
Hey!
Oh,
Start this right here. Yes, well, thank you for taking that poll. 281 at the Quarry. Traffic is moving along there in both directions. And yeah, happy Friday to everyone out there. I don't even have the excuse of staying up late to watch the game for that. 10 at Callahan West, traffic is moving along. 35 at Weiner Road. It looks like we do have some slowdowns here. 35 southbound traffic. And this is going to be ongoing construction in this one particular spot in the northeast side of town. And across the city of San Antonio, that one actually just popped up, 90 at 1604. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. But again, northeast side is going to be our biggest delay at the moment, southbound at Weiner over by Randolph Boulevard. Let's check in with Alex Gomez. Alex, how are things looking on this Friday morning?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. Well, I found our first accident over here on the far west side. It's going to be at the intersection of 1604 and Highway 90, and you can see 1604 northbound. That highway is going to be closed right now if you're trying to get to Marbach Road. So your best alternate route is going to be able to use Pugh Road. Pugh Road will take you to Marbach. But right now they are cleaning things up, and 1604 northbound again is going to be completely shut down right at Highway 90, RJ.
Thank you very much for that update, Alex. And looks like things are starting off early on this Friday morning. We'll keep you updated on this situation. Guys.
5:04 right now. We got the top story this morning. A heartbreaking update from Northeast ISD, where a teacher at MacArthur High School passed away yesterday morning after experiencing some type of medical emergency as the school day began. The principal reached out to families with a letter to share the sad news. The medical examiner has confirmed the teacher's name, 65-year-old Timothy Kitterman. Kitterman taught American Sign Language and was honored as Teacher of the Year in 2019. According to the school's website, emergency crews also rushed to help, but unfortunately, they couldn't save him. The district is deploying its crisis intervention team to MacArthur to offer support to students and staff who may be struggling.
We're getting some new details about a Universal City woman facing capital murder charges in the death of her son. She is 50-year-old Wilma Jamitza Medina. An arrest affidavit says her husband, a China Grove police officer, came home early Wednesday morning and heard screaming from their bedroom. When he broke down the door, he found Medina holding their son, and then she started stabbing herself. The documents say he called 911 and held Medina until help arrived. Investigators also report that at the hospital, Medina said that she thought people with flashlights were on her roof following her. Now, the 9-year-old boy, David Ihanira Medina, was pronounced dead at the hospital. Court records show that he suffered multiple stab wounds on both sides of his neck. Wilma Medina is charged with capital murder of a person under 10 years old. She is booked now at the Bexar County Jail on a $600,000 bond. Now, we are taking this moment to tell you that if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please get help. There are resources. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now for a list of those free resources.
Now, 506, a warning to parents with school-age kids. The Church Police Department is looking into 3 different incidents involving someone trying to take a child. 2 of the incidents happened this week within just 3 days. Take a listen. On September 1st, a 13-year-old girl said a man asked her to get in his car while she was walking home from school. She did not. Instead, she went home and reported it to police. 2 days later, a 16-year-old said a man asked her to perform a sexual act on him. Now, these all happened within a mile of Clemens High School. And back in July, near FM 78 and Schertz Parkway, a family reported that a man tried to grab their child in an attempted kidnapping. Schertz police and other law enforcement agencies are investigating all 3 of these incidents. We talked to people around the neighborhood and sat down with the Schertz police chief about the safety in that community.
You have to teach your kids safety and just be alert and always tell your parents if something bad happens.
It's really scary. Like I said, we have a 1-year-old and 2-year-old who's here all day, and so it's they're just outside, we're worried.
Traveling in routes or pathways that you're familiar with, and if all possible, you travel with another friend or a group of friends, and then at all times, you should never talk to a stranger or get into a stranger's vehicle.
Okay, so right now, the Schertz police are still searching for a man from an attempted July kidnapping incident. You can find and share his picture right now with others on KSAT.com.
Right. We got news records revealing that Robb Elementary in Uvalde had door issues long before the tragic shooting. That's from an exclusive report by CNN, a work order from April 2022, just a month before the shooting. It showed that the west door wasn't closing properly. That's the same door that the shooter used to get into the school on May 24, 2022. To be clear, though, Uvalde CID released over 28,000 pages of documents, but they didn't hand it all over at once. Took multiple requests to get everything. And even then, some records like door lock details and certain police communications are missing. Teachers say that they've been raising concerns for years about doors that wouldn't lock. Families and victims of survivors are frustrated, saying that it's hard to move forward when information comes so slowly. In the last 24 hours, KSAT has emailed the Uvalde CISD twice. We asked whether the district failed to release all the records related to the shooting. No response just yet, but next Monday, the Uvalde CISD School Board will have an emergency meeting. They're supposed to discuss the legal issues and the release of more records. We'll be there for that meeting.
This morning, new records from KSAT show Edgewood ISD police claiming that Maribel Gardea resisted arrest at a school board meeting recently. You might remember she was speaking about student safety during public comments when she went past her time limit. Police say she refused to step down from the podium. Officers were instructed to escort her out. When they tried to put her in handcuffs, police say she fought back. Gardea was charged with disrupting the meeting, trespassing, and resisting arrest, but those charges were dropped a few days later. Edgewood ISD police say there is no body camera footage, but bystander videos show officers wearing what looks like body cameras and radios. KSAT investigators reached out to the district for clarification, but so far there's been no response.
All right, let's get to some of your top stories this morning. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing tough questions from lawmakers on both sides about his handling of vaccine policy and the chaos at the Centers for Disease Control. Some senators criticizing his decisions, calling them troubling and confusing for the public. Kennedy, though, defended his actions, but lawmakers said that he could not answer basic questions about vaccine data. Now, one of those actions included the firing of CDC Director Susan Monarez just weeks after she was hired. The president of the American Academy of Pediatrics called the mixed messages unprecedented, leaving many uncertain about vaccine guidance. Moving on here, the Trump administration, we saw this earlier, taking a big step in the fight against drug trafficking, designating 2 Ecuadorian gangs as foreign terrorist groups. This comes as tensions rise in the Caribbean after a U.S. military strike on a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela, which killed 11 people. The Pentagon says that Venezuelan military planes recently flew close to a U.S. Navy ship, calling it a show of force to disrupt counter-drug operations. Senator Marco Rubio calls it a war on killers and terrorists, with the U.S. deploying ships and boosting funding to fight drug cartels in Latin America. All right, take a look at this right here. No, it's not Wolf Stadium. This is actually a stadium in Arizona. A worker got stuck, get this, 12 stories high in the air while changing light bulbs at a baseball stadium in Mesa. When the fire department realized that their ladders were not tall enough to reach him, they basically had to get creative. They set up a rope and pulley system to safely lower him down from that light pole. So he had a slight head injury, but was okay after he went to the hospital to get checked out. Crews with the Mesa, Phoenix, and Tempe fire departments worked together to rescue him, and thankfully he did make it down safe. Shall we?
Thankfully, there was no storms or any sort of lightning or any rain in the area, or even wind for that matter. But that's exactly what we're watching for us here this weekend. We're starting to see the rain in San Antonio start tomorrow, continue to Monday. I'll have the latest forecast for you coming up.
I ended up going to a community college in my freshman year. 9/11 happened. So that's when everything just snapped for me.
And also coming up, that was Ernie's pickup line. We got the Preston Community Center on the south side facing financial trouble. But get this, we're going to show you how that city is staying alive and that center is doing whatever it can for their community. 5:15, welcome back. Okay, so this right here behind me was known as the Preston Community Center. It sits on the south side in a neighborhood that is among the poorest areas in the city. Well, this center serves the youth, serves the food pantry, and serves the elderly. But to keep it alive after being faced with financial ruin, the nonprofit Family Service took it over recently, but they had to do their research. This right there, that is a policy map that they use to study the area that they now serve. They learned in the Preston Community Center neighborhood, a 2019 to 2023 annual income study determined that just over 50% of households make less than $50,000 a year. But get that, the majority of that makes less than $25,000 a year at 31.3%. That is a tough situation for many families. But these stats alone show you that it is very critical. The community center is for the area to give kids and families things to do safely for free. With Family Service taking over, they're slowly but surely rebuilding the programs that they served, the underserved, with youth programs, youth summer camps, and a new Head Start, and so much more.
We know that, this is a part of town that traditionally has, a lot of low-income families. They've got a lot of disinvestment in the area. They have needs here, and they just need that little bit of help so they can, be on their feet and thrive and do well. And
the Family Service Preston Community Center also has critical programs in place to improve the quality of life for their seniors in the area. Get this, at 6, you're going to hear from this lady right here firsthand, who says that keeping the Preston Community Center alive has kept her alive and thriving.
Very good. Well, this week on Pickup Lines, I'm sitting down with an Army veteran, Earl Fontenot of the Wounded Warrior Project. He actually grew up in Colorado and comes from a family of military service. Earl's grandparents served in both World War II and the Korean War, while his dad served in Vietnam. Now, the events of 9/11 prompted Earl to enlist in the Army, and he was deployed soon after that, serving 2 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. But coming back home was not easy.
So we drank a lot. The military, I think it's changed a lot, but back then it was a party mentality. Everybody kind of did that together.
But for coping, right? Not necessarily to have a great time. And
both.
Yeah,
I think it was a lot of both. So there was a lot of drinking between Afghanistan and Iraq. And then you go to Iraq and you go through it all again. For me, Afghanistan was a lot worse than our deployment to Iraq. And I feel it's weird saying that because Afghanistan, my unit didn't lose anybody. Iraq, we lost 2 people. To an IED. So two completely different, worlds. And then when we came back from Iraq, fast forward to, it was around midsummer 2006. That's when I was getting ready to get out of the Army. And then I had a really hard time transitioning, especially with, self-medication with alcohol. That was the main thing. Never any drugs, but it was just alcohol.
Yeah, just some honest talk there about real-life military struggles, reacclimating here. So Earl in the episode also talks about how he nearly lost his wife to the drinking and the work he's now doing with the Wounded Warrior Project to help end veteran suicide. The latest episode of Pickup Lines premieres at 5:30 and replays at 7:30 this evening on the free KSAT Plus app, or you can watch it now at KSAT.com. Just search Pickup Lines.
Ernie, as we take a look at your traffic authority, of course, Military City, USA. So good morning to all of our folks over by Bamsey, Lackland. We appreciate your service. Taking a look here, 281 at the Quarry. This is going to be north of downtown San Antonio. Traffic moving along there for all of our folks making their way from 281 to 1604. Again, some major backups right here. 35 south at Wiedner Road. We'll keep an eye on that situation. That is construction related. But we also have this accident that's taking place on the far west side of town, 90 at 1604. And let's go ahead and check in with Alex Gomez right now for more information on where exactly this is and see if we can get more updates on the situation out there in DriveCam. Alex, what's up?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. And here's what's left of the scene right here. 1604 northbound at the intersection of Highway 90. It's going to be on the northbound lanes. And you can see we do have one lane open now. So 1604 north has one lane that gets you to Marbach. You don't have to use any more alternate routes, but it should be clearing. This is the last vehicle they have to worry about. So within the next 10 to 15 minutes, the entire intersection should be reopened, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Alex, for our drivers on the far west side of town. All right, Shelby, how are things looking for anyone making their way out this morning?
A lot warmer than what we were waking up to yesterday. Remember, yesterday we were in the 50s and 60s. Today, we're about 10 degrees warmer in San Antonio, 15 or almost 20 degrees warmer in portions of the hill country. That just shows you yesterday was a beautiful fall-like day. Today is traditional for us here in South Central Texas. You're waking up in the 70s, having our peak temperature get to near triple digits or even at 99 in San Antonio. But for us, what we're watching really closely is now post-tropical cyclone Lorena. This was a Category 1 hurricane as of yesterday before the 4 a.m. update, and then it got downgraded into a tropical storm, and now it is a post-tropical cyclone Lorena, meaning it's basically making landfall as we speak in between Baja California and Mexico, and it's losing all of its strength, it's losing its winds, its circulation, but one thing I want it noted is all those blue colors, that's that moisture getting back into areas of San Antonio, into Texas, and we're really going to start to see some of the showers make their way into San Antonio starting today for some up in Lubbock or even in West Texas. But for us, we can start to see some of the effects tomorrow. Now, tomorrow there is a 30% chance of rain, and it is a weekend, so it is going to be a little inconvenient, but we're still going to expect about a 30% chance of rain tomorrow. And then we're going to see the rain chances increase as we go into Sunday and even in Monday for some folks. Now, here's a look at that tropical moisture. We're seeing that really saturated air associated with Lorena move and get brought into areas of across South Central Texas on top of just the normal moisture we're used to here. And as that does, we're expecting a weak frontal system to move through and really allow some of that moisture to just sit in areas of San Antonio, across even getting into areas of Houston, which is why there is that chance and that possibility for some localized flooding. Now, we're talking about maybe rain up to a few inches. Your neighbor might get a little more. Your neighbor down the street might not get any, which is why it's so important for you to pay attention here. KSAT Weather Authority will continue to keep you updated through the weekend. Still a 60% chance of rain on Sunday, even as we go into Monday, a 60% chance overnight into Monday morning. Quieting down for the weather department in the rain aspect starting Tuesday evening into Wednesday, and temperatures return a little back more to normal and very seasonable for us in San Antonio. We'll be right back after the break.
In today's Tech Bites, a new venture for OpenAI. It's launching a hiring platform powered by artificial intelligence in direct competition to LinkedIn. The tech company says the service would offer a dedicated track for small businesses and local governments to access top AI talent. Well, next, Sesame Street is coming to YouTube. The show's creator has signed a partnership bringing hundreds of full episodes to YouTube, along with new content featuring Sesame Street characters. The deal also calls for workshops for creators that focus on educational content. Well, finally, an assist for your robot vacuum. The smart home brand Eufy has a new gadget that will carry its RoboVacs up and down the stairs. It's called the Mars Walker, and it uses 4 arms to navigate steps and comes with its own charging base. It's due out next year. Well, those are your Tech Bites. I'm Morgan Norwood. Have a great day.
I bet that's $1 billion. Okay, here we go. 5:26 right
payments.
now. 78 degrees outside.
All right. Well, we've seen many volunteers in the Hill Country, but one group of San Antonio teens are stepping up. We're going to show you how they're using AI to help communities stay safe after the deadly Hill Country floods.
Plus, here at the Preston Community Center, it's all about nurturing children, but it's also about taking care of our seniors. I'll introduce you to one senior who's an example as to why Family Service took over this place so that it can survive. Coming up on 5:30 right now, guys, we have made it to this Friday, and as you can see, I am winning colors today.
Oh,
I know.
Oh my goodness, look at that green looking good.
Okay. Hey, the Cowboys competed. I will give the Cowboys credit.
It was
Yes.
an intense
Good
game, but we came out on top. Either way, again, we're still going off of this weather delay. I didn't even get a chance to watch
No,
the
I
end
woke
of
up
it.
to it. I fell asleep,
Yeah.
obviously. I woke up and I was like, what, an hour delay or something like that? I guess Philly, they had some weather last
Yes,
night.
hopefully
yeah.
we're not going to have that for any games this weekend.
So we are going to see some weather, and I'll talk about that later on. And it's going to be very isolated. We're not expecting severe thunderstorms. For us, it's going to be just a little bit more of a flooding risk, and I'll touch on that in just a second. This morning, you're waking up, temperatures sitting in the 70s, even 81 degrees already in Del Rio, seeing some humidity, but throughout the rest of your day, we're expecting the humidity to decrease and our temperature is going to be very nice. In fact, we're expected to be already by 93 degrees by 1 o'clock, and the humidity, like I mentioned, it's going to be a pleasant day. Yes, it still might feel a little muggy at times, but the mugginess doesn't really return until tomorrow. And with that, that's when we're starting to see some of that extra moisture from post-tropical cyclone Lorena move through. And as it moves through, that does leave and give us the chance for some flash flooding on Sunday. We do have a marginal risk for some flash flooding across South Central Texas and across South Texas, in fact. And that's when we're talking about the chance of some storms Sunday afternoon through Monday. We're talking about seeing the possibility of some flash flooding because some areas might receive up to 5 inches of rain. And this is Flash Flood Alley. We have a lot of creeks, we have a lot of streams, and a lot of roads that could also have low water crossings and have some issues. So we'll keep you updated on that. But RJ, how are the roads looking outside right now?
All right, thank you very much, Shelby. Taking a look at your traffic authority on this Friday morning. Hopefully you guys are off to a good start so far. Let's take a look at the situation here. 35 in New Braunfels, east side of town. Traffic is looking pretty good in both directions. Not too many people. Maybe y'all stayed up late last night, getting a little bit of a later start to your Friday morning as we take a look there. Another shot of 35. Speaking of 35, northeast side of town, we are seeing a pretty good backup here for all of our folks that are trying to get to this one particular interchange, 35-410 on the near northeast side of town. Some backing up here over by O'Connor, Weidner, and it looks like we could even see some of this delays going all the way towards Topper Wine. So we'll keep an eye on the situation there, ongoing construction on the near northeast side of town. Let's take a look at the west side of town because Alex is at this one particular spot, 1604 90, where we did have a crash. So let's go to Alex right now in Drive Cam and see if we could get an update on the situation out there in the far west side. Alex?
Yeah, good morning, RJ, and check this out. First responders, they just left the scene. So over here on the far west side, the intersection of 1604 and Highway 90, well, it's back to normal. All lanes are back open, RJ.
Okay, good news, Alex, and hopefully everyone is okay from that crash. Jeff?
All right, good morning. Here's a question for you. Can San Antonio or Bexar County halt a controversial new development? That right there is the question that many are asking about a proposed project near Lotus. We've been covering the Guadalote Ranch, where home builder Leonard plans to build 3,000 homes along with a wastewater treatment plant. It's that plant that has people concerned, fears that it could pollute San Antonio's main water source. Our Sarah Acosta caught up with former San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, who says that the city has the power to block this plan, and he's being very clear about his opposition to the project.
I say hell no.
A former Mayor Nirenberg says that the city and county can stop it by not approving the project as a public improvement district. If the county or the city don't sign off, the developer can appeal at the state level, which could take years.
If there is a action that is being requested that would harm the constituents of an elected official, that elected official has an obligation not to go along with it or to support it.
Additionally, if the public improvement district with Bexar County is approved, property owners would have to pay extra taxes for local improvements.
A road work project on San Antonio's east side is catching people's attention. The city refers to this as phase 2 of the plan. The work includes upgrading sidewalks, fixing drainage issues, and adding medians along North New Braunfels Avenue. So the work is happening on that street between East Houston and Paso Hondo. 2 years ago, a similar project wrapped up just north of that area.
Oh, God. I mean, we had just finished over here and now here.
You've got to make a right turn or a left turn and then go up a few blocks before you can even, make the turnaround.
So some people who work in that area say all of the detours and closed streets have been chasing away customers. The project is scheduled for completion early next year.
2 months have passed since the deadly Hill Country floods, and in the days after July 4th, we've shown you how the communities along the Guadalupe River are trying to find a way forward, especially with the future prevention. Right now, we've got a group of San Antonio teens joining the conversation. Now, this is the Techno Wizards robotics team. They're trying to develop an early warning flood detection system using artificial intelligence and using photos from past floods. This system is learning to detect rising waters. These cameras will be placed in areas of high risk. They would capture live images like this that you see right here, and then would alert nearby residents once dangerous river levels are reached. The design is still in its early stages.
Decided to maybe take my past projects and turn them into something that can be used for this situation.
The Techno Wizards have teamed up with the Federation of Korean Associations and San Antonio's Community Alliance for Traffic Safety. And so far, the Federation has raised $6,000 to fund the development of a warning system.
And this year will mark the 12th year for the Head for the Cure 5K in San Antonio. It started right here, literally right here, in honor of KSAT's late news director Jim Boyle, who passed away back in 2014 from brain cancer. So the race has grown over the years, giving many other families a way to remember and honor their loved ones, including Naomi Olivares, whose son passed away from brain cancer when he was just 11 years old.
Every year it's always an emotional roller coaster for sure. It's always really sad, but also a safe place for us to go to just to be with other people who feel what we feel.
Naomi and her family participate in the race every year, and coming up later on GMSA at 9, we'll tell you how Naomi is getting support from some Holmes High School students at this year's 5K.
And we, of course, are honored to be hosting that event once again. Well, starting this fall, FICO, that is the company that calculates your credit score, will begin including the very popular buy now, pay later options in their scores for the first time. So this, of course, could change or also hurt or help your credit depending on how you handle those payments. If you pay on time, it can definitely boost your score, but missing payments can bring those scores down. Since payment history makes up 35% of your score, even one missed payment on a buy now, pay later plan can have a pretty big impact. Speaking of having a big impact here, we have a big jobs report coming out later on this morning that could push the Fed to lower interest rates when they meet later on this month. Now, experts expect the August report to show about 75,000 new jobs and a slight rise in unemployment to 4.3%. This will be the first jobs report since the president fired the head of the Labor Bureau after last month's weak numbers. Shelby?
Well, we're still watching the chance and the potential and the possibility of some heavy rainfall this weekend, especially with the risk being flash flooding. I'll go over a future cast of what you need to know on Sunday coming up in just a bit.
San Antonio City Hall is in a tug of war that could block fines for dumping pets. We're going to tell you why a plan to fine up to $2,000 was scrapped and what the mayor is saying about that.
2 new bills aiming to prevent tragedies like Camp Mystic flooding are now headed to the governor. We'll break down what they mean for camp safety and families.
And after a rocky start on the far west side, traffic has been improving. So now I'm on my way to the east side, and I'll give you more traffic updates coming up on GMSA.
5:44 right now. We got 2 bills written after the flooding deaths at Camp Mystic have now passed and are headed to the Governor Greg Abbott's desk.
It is the start of a promise that their lives and their deaths will mean change.
Families like the Stewarts pushed hard for the legislation. Lawmakers answered. House Bill 1 sets rules for emergency plans, alert systems, and training. Senate Bill 1 requires cabins to display evacuation routes and have ladders for a possible rooftop escape. It also bans cabins from being built in floodplains, a point that caused debate among lawmakers who worry that the camps may struggle to relocate and could be forced to shut down.
I spoke against the bill and talked about how this was going to really hurt camps and be detrimental to our community and to future campers. And unfortunately, enough people voted for the bill that the bill passed. And now I think we put bad legislation into play.
After the bills passed, Camp Mystic released a statement saying in part, quote, "Today we are writing to reaffirm our support for legislation that will make camps and communities along the Guadalupe River safer."
This morning, a power struggle within City Hall could keep San Antonio from going after people who dump unwanted pets.
Yesterday, we asked Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones about this power struggle after a source told us that the mayor had a proposal removed from yesterday's council agenda. It was a plan to fine people up to $2,000 for abandoning animals.
Our Patty Santos tells us about the clash between puppies and policymaking. Patty.
Hey there, good morning, guys. Well, this seems like a continuation of the same dispute we saw last month when the mayor clashed with council over how to handle policy proposals. Now, part of the issue was the mayor asking council members to resubmit any council consideration request, or CCR, that has not been approved before the new council took office in June. This puts months of work in limbo. A CCR, by the way, is a request that a topic be included in future council meetings. A City Hall source told KSAT the mayor pushed to withdraw yesterday's proposal because it originated from one of those previous CCRs. And the councilwoman who filed it is someone the mayor has already had conflicts with.
Are you going to confirm if this was, the mayor behind this?
That's my understanding, but I'm not for sure. I'm not 100%.
There's been a fight over the CCR process. Mm-hmm. You were one of the vocal opponents and how she handled that. Do you see this as retribution?
I'm not sure. All I'm going to say again is that this is the work of our residents. They want us to push these changes.
Okay, so City Manager Eric Walsh told reporters that he had withdrawn the proposal but did not clarify if it was at the mayor's request. Jones pretty much remained silent when she passed by our cameras yesterday 4 times without responding to questions. However, the chief of staff said the proposal was pulled due to a, quote, process issue. What does that mean? Well, Well, that's not clear either. We did get the statement from the mayor's office saying, quote, item 11 was pulled from the city council agenda yesterday evening by the city staff as the expired CCR had not been reviewed by the governance committee and has been communicated, expired CCRs from the previous council may be resubmitted and the governance committee will decide on how to best move forward once received. End quote. It is not clear when this proposal could come back up. We did take a look at what it's all about. You can find out more about this proposal on KSAT.com.
All right, thank you very much, Patty. Well, if you or a coworker, right here, this guy, shows up groggy or needs some extra coffee this morning, chances are you stayed up to watch the end of the Cowboys opener that finally wrapped up, y'all, late last night. The game against the Eagles was delayed by an hour due to lightning and storms around the stadium, and it also got off to a bit of a crazy start when we had the Eagles star defensive lineman, Jalen Carter, here we go, we have some highlights now, was ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott, which he did apologize for after the game. After a back and forth first half, the Cowboys offense could not make the plays down the stretch and fall to the defending champs 24-20. Dallas, you look at that lightning out there outside the stadium. Intense situation. You could see that cleared out not only the fans, but also the teams. And there is that incident there. Jalen Carter. That was before the very first play of the game, right after the kickoff.
I tell you.
Yeah, he was ejected. The Cowboys, by the way, play at Jerry World next against the Giants Sunday.
That kind of raindrop was very unacceptable. I think a lot of people watched that. It was just like, what are you doing?
It was a crazy
But
moment.
I wake up this morning and there's some type of controversy going on around online that Dak actually spit first, but he didn't spit on.
Right.
You know, either way, can we just keep
the
spit in your mouth, please? Don't do that.
Keep all the liquids to just be the rain.
Right, exactly.
Keep it to the
Let
rain.
that be the only precipitation.
And so I looked it
That
up.
lightning was nuts, though.
So it was raining before the game actually started, and it was raining right as the game was starting, but there was no lightning associated with this, so they didn't need to go on a lightning delay. But then the lightning picked up right as the third quarter was starting, and even now, if you look at the satellite and radar, there's nothing in areas of Pennsylvania. So all the rain that they saw has continued to push up into areas of the Northeast. There's a little bit of some storms out near Wichita, but for us, what we're watching is really the front associated with the storms in Wichita and post-tropical cyclone Lorena. That's going to continue to give us the rain chances, and you can already see some of its moisture getting brought into areas of El Paso, getting brought into areas of even New Mexico, but that cloud coverage, that's continuing to have an impact as we go throughout the next day or so. And for us in San Antonio today, that cloud coverage is going to start to reappear this afternoon and even into tomorrow, giving us a partly cloudy to mostly clear skies later today. Temperatures still getting to 99 degrees, so that cloud coverage will help. But we're still going to see temperatures on the warmer side before we start to see more of the effects of the rain tomorrow. Now, this is what we're watching. Remember, like I told you earlier, we're expecting the peak chances of rain to be Sunday going into Monday, but we're also tracking that chance for some isolated flooding. We're talking about slick roads, low water crossings being the main concern, because as this low pressure continues to move into areas of Texas, we're expecting rainfall rates associated with this to be on the stronger side. Now, this weather model does show it a little more extra, but the one thing I do like about it is it's showing that there is still the chance for some heavy rain Sunday afternoon and even into Monday. And this is one of our global models, so we don't necessarily have the high resolution models showing where it started off as a Hurricane Lorena moving into a post-tropical cyclone, but it still does show the chance of some heavy rainfall even as we get into Monday morning for San Antonio, which is why there is still that chance for some possible flooding for us, because there's going to be some extra saturated moisture in San Antonio. Now, we don't know the exact location of where we're expecting these heavier bands. You may see it go into San Antonio, but it could also be in Kerrville Junction. It could even be up to Killeen and Waco. You'll want to check back with us. We'll continue to keep you posted. But the one thing that all of this rain is good for is our drought. The latest drought monitor came out yesterday, and not much of a change for us here in San Antonio, but it did still show most of us in Medina County and most of us here in our viewing area are still in that drought. So any rain is good rain for us here in San Antonio, even despite there being a chance of some flooding on this weekend. We'll continue to keep you posted, not only in the weather department, but RJ will keep you updated with traffic, and even like he is now.
Absolutely, Shelby. And a reminder that we have got week 2 of high school football season also kicking off. So just stay hydrated out there and be safe on the roads. Let's take a look at the current situation. 35 right here, Southwest Military Drive. Good morning to all of our folks out there. 37 Jones Avenue on the east side of town. We appreciate you guys being with us over by the Broadway corridor area. Here's a shot there, 37 at Carolina Street. So traffic looking pretty good along both directions of 37. You see the Alamo Dome there off to the distance. Again, 50,000 fans expected at the Dome tomorrow for my Bobcats. Eat 'em up. Texas State taking on UTSA, and we'll talk about that later on. 35 South right there at Wiener Road starting to clear out. Let's go to Alex and see how things are looking in Drive Cam. Alex, what's up?
RJ, good morning. I just went through downtown, and 35 North still has that construction on the right side of the highway, and the west side is looking pretty good, especially since we cleared that accident over there. And I think I just heard you say eat 'em up. But RJ, come on. You got to say birds up. Tomorrow.
I admittedly forgot my Bobcat swag. Yes. Thank you very much, Alex, for that, guys. Good stuff.
Amazing. Okay, 5:54 right now, 78 degrees outside.
We'll be right back. All right, your nominations for the SA Picks 2025 contest are in, and we thank you. We asked you to choose San Antonio's top businesses, and you certainly did that.
You can scan that QR code you see on your screen with the finalists and put your vote in. Again, deadline September the 20th. Plus, you can vote for each category once per day. We're going to announce those winners later this month.
Beautiful. All right, we'll step aside. More to get to at the top of the hour, including a look at the rain chances for the weekend. And RJ and Alex Gomez, part Texas State, part UTSA. They'll both have some traffic for us coming up in the next hours.